All right, we are live. We're a little late. We're a few minutes late, but it's still Friday. Still Friday afternoon, and it's still Small Biz Breakdown time. I'm looking at this because I'm looking at my phone because this message came up. Oh, look, got a little notification that says Small Business Trends is now on with content creation out of business. All right. Anyway, we're here, folks. We took off last week because it was the 4th of July and all that kind of stuff. But we're back and better than ever, or so I hope. And let's see if we are back. Is Leland from Oregon back?
I am here. I had a relaxing 4th of July, spent some time with the kids, had fun, lit some pyrotechnics in the front, street,
You're leaving out the best part, though. Didn't you eat something? I mean, 4th of July.
Yeah, it was all right.
Okay.
It was a busy 4th of July with my wife does clog dancing, and so she was in the parade. She was doing a performance in our little local town, and so we got home and we're like, I want to do nothing.
Wait a minute. You said your wife did clog dancing. Don't you feel compelled to also join her? Or,
I see what those people do to their feet. I don't want no part of it.
Oh, so you will not be out there clogging it up.
No.
Let me see. Maybe they do that kind of thing in Medina. Maybe there's clogging going on in Medina. And who else would we ask about clogging in Medina than Madam Medina, at least on our show? But she's also Madam Mike Drop too. Even a Taylor. Are you in there clogging over there in Medina?
No, we do not do. I can't speak. I do not do clogging. I do my own version. But no, we do not do those things here. We do have wonderful 4th of July parades. We have cookouts, lots of fireworks. And I think I saw something about this on Facebook, but it seems like the fireworks did not stop on the 4th of July. They just went on all weekend. And I feel really bad for the dogs out there. I'm not a pet owner, but I understand the dogs really suffer, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, the 4th of July fireworks started on the 2nd of July where I live, and it was nonstop. Matter of fact, I think there's just another one of those things that just went on. Anyway, still going on. Well, but you know what? Speaking of dogs, let's welcome John.
Sorry, John.
The cold one, the bold one.
I didn't think he would take it that far, John. I'm sorry.
John Colder Ice Lawson. How are you doing? Did you well, you did survive. So you went to Beyonce, right? You want to tell us about? Yeah, we can see you got that jersey or shirt or whatever that is. I'm surprised you're up because quite honestly, at your age, trying to hang with the youngins is kind of tough.
Well, the age of the audience grows with you. So this is my 5th tour. So
you've been to 5 Beyonce concerts?
I've been to 5 Beyonce concerts. My daughter had to remind me. She's like, "Is this our 4th show?" And I went to one before we went together. But it's like, yeah, this is our 5th show, me and B.
I like that. I like it's you and your daughter, because your daughter can then you could like front and say, "Yeah, I'm just going to take her."
Exactly. But she's grown now. It's like, but at any rate, yes, it was an amazing, almost 3 hours. It's insane.
3 hours. Woo.
Almost 3 hours. And here's the thing, man. I've seen them all. I've seen Michael. I've seen Prince. I've seen Janet. I've seen James Brown, the Queen of Soul, Stevie Wonder. I've seen them all. None of them compare. None of them compare. Beyonce is that great.
I'm gonna stop you there so we could actually talk about small business though. I didn't know I didn't know this was gonna turn into like a Pastor Mike thing.
Let's talk about the business of it too. So it's pretty impressive there as well, because it's like she does all these vignettes between the songs and stuff.
You mean vignettes?
And she has this vignettes. All right, vignette. That's just the difference between an E, but the deal is, and product placement, like every bar at the event had her whiskey on it. It's just, it's very, she has merch booths that set up outside the arena early.
Dang.
And if Atlanta especially, I mean, there's so many bootleggers. But if you think about it, I'm like, this is so smart. She's got it outside, so it cuts down on the bootlegging, because now you're not going to buy somebody's other bootleg stuff when you got access to her merch. Even if you're not attending the show, you can buy the merch outside.
You know
It's
what?
absolutely, she's smart, man.
I got a bone to pick with that. Why, maybe you all will have a bone, or I don't know, hot dog left over from last week. But she's already making all the money in the world. Why not let the little bootlegger folks, the folks that are selling bottles of water for $1, why not let them make a little money? I mean, does she really need any more?
No, that's not the boot. That's the dollar water bottle is fine, but fake T-shirts.
But you can't. I mean, it's licensing. I mean, seriously, though, as much as philosophically, I'm with you. But if you want to make money off the Beyonce, because it's a slippery slope, right? But I think if you want to make money off the Beyonce brand, you cannot be using their licensed material. Ooh. Be creative, like Mr. Lawson, I'm sure would think of some way to create a connection between Beyonce and some kind of creative product. John, am I right?
Yes, I would make a bling cowboy hat. Right? It wouldn't have any brand, but it would, trust me.
There is so much you could do, right?
Right.
You can mimic her jewelry. You can sell leotards. You could right. And the cowboy thing is what a great idea. And I think because, and I'll tell you why I say this, because it's not about Beyonce and the big brands. I think that lack of marketing integrity is what costs small business owners who are creative and who do good work, and their stuff gets ripped off. That happens enough as it is.
Kind of like Leland's buddy who is getting ripped off by that one dude, right?
That was vague. Which buddy?
You remember you told that story I'd be listening to you guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm listening. And you told that story about the guy that had his channel and put together this work. And then some dude that over in Spain or wherever it was completely ripping it off, just turning it from English to Spanish. And he was making a killing off this guy.
Yeah. I mean, just ripping off content, like that shirt, if someone were to go and reproduce it themselves and just sell it at a half the cost or something like that to try to undercut Beyonce, no, that's not okay. Come up with your own original thing. And then I do have qualms about going to the concert and trying to sell at the concert because they're the ones renting the space. They're the ones getting security. They're the ones paying for everything in order for you to come in and, again, still try to undercut Beyonce to be able to utilize her venue. Now, I could see going on online and doing your own thing, but to use what they've
they can also open it up and charge a what do you call that, like a display fee or whatever, like you would at a trade show. Vendor fee. Open up like a vendor fee. They can open up a section. Here's the licensed stuff, here's the non-licensed stuff. We know the concert is coming. You could submit, you can purchase. So there are so many wonderful ways to support small businesses. Like, you would have to be approved. Like, you would have to show what you're selling. Like, to John's point, I'm selling studded cowboy hats. Awesome. Good for you. Right. You would have had to do your research on what element of the look and feel of Beyonce is okay. Like, that you can create without stepping on their intellectual property.
Yeah.
There's room for everyone. I'm a big believer in co-opetition, right? Like, let's work together.
Co-opetition. I like that. Co-opetition.
Just make sure you give her credit when you rip it off. That's all I'm saying.
What are you just saying? I don't have to do that.
Look,
But you know what? Here's the one thing, man. I mean, the amount of money that one show brings to a city is incredible. I mean, if you just think about all the Uber rides, all the hotels, all the food and vending, I mean, there are so much money gets generated when a concert like a Beyonce or Taylor Swift or any of these kind of major acts come to your city. It's amazing how much money is generated.
Do you think it's becoming a thing, John? You know how people, I have never been to a Beyonce concert and I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. So all I know is what I hear. So correct me if I'm wrong. But there's lots of talk about, to your point, John, when these concerts come into place, that these, like the Taylor Swift as an example, I don't know about Beyonce, and that's my question, that they do, they contribute in some ways to the city. They sort of have like this PR thing that they're doing, whether they are, I don't know, they have like giving, I don't know if it, what, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not being very.
Yeah, do they always do charitable
events? Like they're doing these
do.
like goodwill gestures for the city. So in addition to, you know, because they are making that money and beyond just the restaurants and the Ubers, but are there other goodwill gestures? Does Beyonce do that? And do you think that's becoming a thing?
I'm sure there is, but I'm not really.
You're not aware, right? Because like you see, that's a Taylor Swift has the press on that, right? She is putting the press out on that of where she's like donating to cities or like whatever her causes are.
Yeah, I mean, Beyonce has a foundation that follows her at every tour, and they do something everywhere in terms of feeding underprivileged and working in schools, something like that in every city. But that's an ongoing thing, you know, and it's not something that Beyonce's really into publicizing.
Got it.
You know,
because you know AC/DC did not do that. You know, back in the day, AC/DC,
I bet they do it now.
Did not do that.
I bet they do it now.
So hence, it's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these artists, they are making contributions, and it just, you know, sometimes it gets to the press, and other times it's just not a story. Especially when we're, you know, we've got such a great president that takes up most of the air. When, you know, it's hard to get through on stories of goodwill these days. It really is. Even locally.
Well, that's media in general. People gravitate towards stories with strife, stories with like drama versus goodwill.
Yeah,
you want the feel good story here and there, but the majority of the stories that the people want are such and such is happening, and you know, this horrible, awful thing is happening, because you're like, oh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. I mean, we get like 2 seconds every newscast right at the end of a feel-good story, and maybe a Wednesday's Child on Wednesday. You know, it just doesn't happen as much. Drama.
Yeah,
we love drama.
I am so tired of the drama. I am so tired. I feel like I've been noodling on a bunch of marketing-y type things, and I've been saying that I feel like my mother used to say, "Don't pull this marketing shit on me," and I used to get mad about it back in the day, but now I'm like, you are so right. Why are moms right all the time? Why do they do that? But there is just so much quote unquote marketing shit out there that it is exhausting to me. Exhausting.
No,
that's quite the statement coming from you.
This is, I don't know whether I'm an exhausted marketer or if I'm a disillusioned marketer. I don't know what category I fall into, but my feed is full of things that are overhyped. I hear so many complaints from my audience. I get these emails from people who said, I spent thousands of dollars per month and got nothing
What are they
of
spending
any
thousands of
value.
dollars on? Like,
Well, they're,
such a
and
foreign concept to me.
present company excluded, because I know John's people probably say the same thing, but there are a lot of marketing coaches out there. There are a lot of people out there selling programs, that promise silver bullets and, gold at the end of rainbows if all you do is exactly this and exactly that. But even more in terms of other small business owners, who are going to be watching this, the concern I have is that and you guys, I'm sure will agree, it's like breaking through the noise. The words just keep getting bigger and more impossible to believe. Like, how much bigger can we make this promise? I just saw somebody that said, if I see the phrase, the secret to, or I'm going to share secrets, or like these phrases, if I see that, I'm immediately going to like not read it, or some nasty thing, right? But I get that. I just absolutely
That's marketing.
Get that. That's marketing.
How much? Let me ask you this: how many more times wider can we get your whites?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? How many times thicker are your lashes? I mean, your lashes at this point should be like this damn thick.
Pretty ridiculously
saying?
thick lashes, though.
I mean, it's just that's marketing. It's like
it's
15 times thicker lashes. Like, really?
And that's it. And I think I wonder to what degree we are just exhausted of the hype, right? And it just is exhausting.
Are you just getting to this point? Because I've been there for about 20 years. I'm just I don't know if John, where you fall into this thing, but I anyone who's known me for any length of time knows that I have always been an enthusiastic marketer, right? And I have always been one, as you're bound to say, where I'm like, great marketing, and we all know great marketing happens when you have done the research and gotten into the world and the language of your customer, and you understand their point of view, where your customer, this is incorrect grammar, gets gotten, like they are understood, seen, heard, and understood in such a way that they enthusiastically will choose and purchase your product or service every single time, regardless of price, every single time. Let me hold you off right there. All right. So how many marketers do you feel actually do everything that you just said?
Oh, I know a few who are committed to that and who work towards that end, but I probably are 100x more who care more about. It's almost like the what's the intention behind that? What's the motivation behind that? Like, and I will stand in the naive space. I'm good with that. I'm good. Go ahead, call me that. I stand in the space of, I want to connect with you and get to know you so that I can make good recommendations, so I can solve your problem, so that so when you do say this was like really amazing, it really was amazing. This is where I stand. So any understanding and work that I do to connect with my customer comes with that motivation. However, there are lots of marketing people for whom the connection is all about the transaction and getting the highest dollar amount. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making the most money, right? Because the right price is the price that the customer is willing to pay. But I have seen people, it's the intention behind it, right? If the intention is to improve your product or service so that you can deliver a desired outcome for your customer, yay you. And there are customers, who are happy to pay whatever price you charge for that. We all know that. We all have things that we will buy and quote unquote pay lots more for because we love it so much, right? I have that. I'm sure we know Ramon has that, right? They're premium shoppers and certain things. I'm a premium shopper, but boy, do I get upset. And I think this is what's got me over the years. What I get upset is that the price keeps going up, but the value is down. Either there is less product, there is less service, there is just less, and you're asking me to consistently pay more, and you're gaslighting me with some kind of value that I'm not getting.
Anybody else, Leland?
I was on a soapbox.
That's been marketing throughout the ages. I mean, I could think back to, you get the time of the snake oil and the tonic water, and it's like, you step right up. I've got the cure all right here, right now. Tell one swig of this and it'll cure all that ails you.
I got to ask you about this. Is that a legitimate Irish accent? That was
he sounds like a good hawker.
I was trying to go for Carney,
Yeah. I get it. Snake oil sales.
And that's I mean, to me, that's a majority of marketing. It's like, oh, bigger, thicker lashes, as John was talking about. It doesn't tell you that, removing that stuff is going to remove your lashes and also make, less, make them less full,
make it look like a
naturally. But I mean, so you gotta, and I love the approach that even talks about doing honest, true marketing, but for the majority of big companies and big corporations, they're not going to be honest, because if they're going to be honest with their products, I mean, I've seen a ton of those YouTube videos where they're like, here's an honest, trailer to a movie or an honest product description. And, if they're actually honest, no one's going to buy their product.
Wow.
That's true.
All right. This is kind of a nice segue because and maybe John, I know it doesn't sound like Leland and Eva have gotten a lot into hearing a lot about this, but have you heard about this July 15th YouTube update that a lot of the content creators are like freaking out over?
Yeah.
But okay. I'm gonna play this little clip. So let me show this headline first, because this headline was really great. YouTube prepares crackdown on mass-produced and repetitive videos as concern over AI slop grows. That's such a great title for an article. It really does say it all. It really talks about kind of like the laziness that Ivana is describing, how that laziness was an issue before all the AI tools came out. And now with the AI tools, the slop and the laziness has gotten to a epidemic or pandemic proportions. And YouTube apparently is making a change to limit the amount of auto-generated content and demonetize, I guess, certain channels that are just churning out stuff. A lot of this stuff is based on other people's stuff. And so there has been this huge freak out around on the content creator YouTube community. People are worried about getting demonetized because I guess they're starting to use AI to help generate some content. Now, this guy that I'm getting ready to play the clip from is his name is Rene Ritchie. I don't know if you guys follow him on YouTube. I've been following him for years. He originally was like an independent content creator, really focused on Apple products, reviews, and what they do and all that. And he gained like 300,000 followers from that formula. And I guess he got to a certain point where he was getting noticed by like the big platforms, YouTube being one of them. So they actually hired him to help content creators understand how they could grow their communities on YouTube. So I just want to set the stage. So he's kind of responsible for what the relationship between content creators and YouTube, YouTube as a company. So this is his response to the freak out that's been going on around all this stuff.
Posts about a July 2025 update to the YouTube Partner Program monetization policies, and you're concerned it'll affect your reaction or clips or other type of channel. Well, I'm Rene Ritchie. I'm a creator who works inside YouTube, and here's the deal. This is a minor update to YouTube's long-standing YPP policies to help better identify when content is mass-produced or repetitive. This type of content has already been ineligible for monetization for years and is content viewers often consider spam. That's it. That's all.
I applaud YouTube for doing this. I just like you were saying, even I'm tired of seeing this trash, this drivel, this content that has, you can tell like zero actual effort was made other than going to a AI tool and having it self-generate. And then it clogs us up. It makes it hard for us to see the actual stuff, the content that is created through the process that Even is talking about. And all we see is all this nonstop drivel and junk because the people who don't want to spend the time and effort, now they got AI and it releases them from having to do anything remotely important to creating good content. So I applaud YouTube. I don't know, what you guys think, but we need more of this kind of stuff coming from these platform providers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal to you because I'm going to have to give him a little credit. Let me take a sip of something first. All right.
Come on, bring it.
I have to give you credit because you really do the homework.
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
That was such a setup. That was such a.
Oh,
That was gold right there, man.
And nobody was there to see
I
it.
have timed it.
Why?
Oh,
I did not do that.
You set us up.
I did not do that on purpose. It just my technology knows something is going
Oh
muck
my gosh,
when I
that's
start
hilarious.
to say anything positive. But anyway,
Oh.
go ahead, say it, Brett.
I will say it
again.
for the record. I think I need another swig. Just
Oh, don't be doing that now. He's going to get. Yeah.
it would be a lot better if there's some liquor in there. I was just saying that I give you credit because there are so many people. I like Leland's term, the hucksters and all those guys that couldn't even spell AI more than 6 months ago. And now they're not only are they spelling it, they are experts in it. They're giving themselves titles, the king and queen of AI and things like that.
AI ninja.
Yeah, AI ninjas. Some people use ninja in as a substitute for another word, but that's for another story. But they just, last week they were experts in this, and then all of a sudden people see what's going on with AI. Now they're all of a sudden AI experts, and they're trying to sell people, that dream that Even was talking about, and they probably haven't done any more than the average person, but they're so quick to jump on the bandwagon. I can say honestly, John is not one of those people. John is one who actually does his research and understands, and I think he actually likes educating people on a lot of this stuff. So he is. Ooh. I know you can record it now. You've got your clip.
And
now,
he's really done it. No, and that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. He's actually done it, and so right. I mean, and the other thing I will say. Oh God, I'm gonna need like a 6-pack or something going on here.
Let's go.
I will say this: he never calls himself an expert in this stuff.
No.
There are people, like I said, just learn how to spell it. Now they call themselves experts. I know data scientists, PhDs in this stuff, and they don't call themselves an expert in this. And a lot of them say, we don't even know where this is going.
Right.
But you'll have these suckers out there that have barely learned to spell it, and they think they already know the way.
Found. That's what I'm saying. They need to get found. And I think that is my, and this is where my disillusion comes from, but this is not what we're talking about in terms of this YouTube thing. I mean, John, or even Leland, when you're talking about creating content, that is the biggest problem. It becomes a blind leading the blind. And that has been my complaint with SEO for decades, for at least 15 to 20 years. And now this AI thing is blind leading the blind. So first of all, to get a good answer to something, you need to know what question to ask, right? And I know this because if I'm asking a question on something that I don't know or understand, it takes me several rounds of asking the wrong question before I know that I've asked the right question. You've got to learn something so that you know what question to ask. So the problem with SEO and AI and YouTube, because YouTube is a search engine, is that you're asking this question and the algorithm or whatever is just going to spit back some answer. And I'm with you, Brent. I applaud YouTube for doing this, although I don't think it's going to be possible to overcome the just sheer volume of garbage that's out there.
Yeah, but they're just not going to reward it anymore.
Oh, that's good, because a lot of that's all they're looking for is the monetization, the reward of getting whatever they do put out monetizable. So I'm glad YouTube is taking that away, because it's already ridiculous. I mean, remember a lot of people
I want to hear what Leland's got to say.
Oh, go ahead. I don't want to go too far. Go ahead.
So I don't know if it's this, I read that article that you sent over, and I don't know if it's necessarily that it's just AI, like driven. Right. Like, there's a kid that I saw, and he makes ASMR videos of like glass fruit being cut.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's making tons of money, but and it's all done through AI. He has a prompt or whatever that does it. And I think that that's unique. It's going to be the 50 other people that come after him that take his video and are like in the corner going,
50 million. Yeah.
And because it's like I shared a video with you guys earlier. It was basically Harry Potter, but in Alabama, it all done with AI, all written with AI, but it was funny. It was unique. That was something that I wouldn't say would be falling under this category, but the people that are taking Reddit, am I a jerk, or, relationship, stories, and then using the same voice from Amazon and using the same Minecraft parkour videos, those people are going to be removed. The people that are taking Simpsons videos or medical dramas and repurposing the videos into shorts, they're going to be the ones that are going to get demonetized, because there are billions of them. It's repurposing the content, throwing a filter on it. But the people that are actually using AI to generate good quality content, I doubt that, YouTube's going to be like, those words are awfully AI-ish, even though you spoke them yourself, or you use something like HeyGen or something like that to, do it in your own voice. I think that those people are going to be okay, because it's unique, interesting, educational content, and not necessarily spam.
And it's their authentic, creative stuff. It's not something that they've ripped off from somebody else, because I think the people who are doing the actual creation of the, what do you call it, the fruit being made from glass. All right, that's such a unique thing, and he's been doing it for a while. He should. I don't think he's going to get penalized. It's like I watch some of these reaction videos, and all these people are actually doing are playing somebody else's song or movie and reacting to it, and they are starting to get mad because they're getting demonetized. And I'm like, what are you getting mad for? You're not doing anything but what everybody else does in their own TV room without a camera on, watching a movie.
And that's
so do you
okay.
think you should get paid for that? No, I'm just saying.
That's okay.
Do you think you should get paid? Do you think you should get paid because you're reacting to somebody else's creation?
If your reaction is golden, right? So there is a comedian that I have seen.
There's a whole industry around that.
Oh, I know. I've been watching
movie reviewers.
No,
I mean, that's
not the reaction they're taught. What I love about there is I don't know if it's a woman but there's several of these people, and I think they're like comedians really I think their background is really that they're comedians, and
Yeah.
they will find the most horrible cooking videos out there of people making the most disgusting stuff. And then they will add commentary to that. And it is hysterical. So funny. So like it's a bad cooking video with this person who's an actual chef who's like experienced in this thing
Yeah.
and just commenting. So, once again, I don't think that deserves to be demonetized. Again, notice that that they are adding value in some way, shape, or form. Some unique.
that's
You know
unique.
You know what? That was unique 5 years ago when somebody started watching a video and like, oh, this is great. And it was interesting, just like the glass thing. But it's so you could so be easily replicated by thousands of people now. I don't think we need those folks. Why do we need 10,000?
And why do they do? You know why you get it? You get it because it works. It's the same reason we have pop-up forums
for the first one or the second one.
So how will
that's why they're getting mad. They're getting mad. They're getting mad because they're not getting monetized like those guys that started doing that originally.
And
I'm all for that.
What do you think YouTube should do? Or even Leland? I mean, you might have more experience in this. I'm kind of curious for all the other guys because I don't know. One thing we can see for sure is that the reward system is going to have to change, right? The reward system is going to have to change. And so,
but
that was for Leland.
There's so much crap on YouTube.
That's exactly right. Anyway, Leland, you had something to say.
Well, I'm just going to say, it's like, okay, let's say, you're reusing a person's video or something like that and reacting into it. And that the original video got like 1,000 views because he's a terrible cook or whatever. And he's making this really god awful thing. And some influencer who's got 50 million people following her is reacting to it. That original person who made the original video should probably get a cut of the profits of the reaction video.
Well, let me throw it just so the person made that the person made the video and they got like 1,000 views, but it caught the attention of like somebody like Mr. Beast. I'm just using that because I know. Oh, too bad we're money here. And Mr. Beast likes it and then comments on it and then shares it, and it goes from that dude's 1,000 to like millions. But it wasn't because of that dude at that point. It was because Mr. Beast liked it, and his influence got it to millions. So how do you determine the monetization of something like that?
I mean, you shouldn't. That's social. That's how things bubble up. That's what.
Well, I'm saying, but that poor guy that made it got like 1,000 views, but it blows up, and let's say it blows up because it's blowing up because it's Mr. Beast. But shouldn't that guy get a little something? I don't know.
Are you saying Mr. Beast reuses that content?
I'm not even saying if he reuses, he definitely should. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm saying, why isn't the guy getting residuals if somebody reposts your video, then they're watching your video, they get residuals.
But does he get the monetization that comes with the millions from Mr. Beast, or does he just get it for the 1,000 that did it on?
No, he gets it. It doesn't matter who's watching it. If they're watching your video, you get the monetization money.
All right, then that's
Isn't this like blogging though? Isn't this like how it used to be with blogging? Like in the beginning, you were like, oh, they took my content. Then you're like, yeah, take my content, please. Just link back to me. I'm good with it.
Yeah, but you have to look at like this specific change is for channels that are churning out content that's 100% AI generated, like robotic voiceovers with B-roll.
Yeah, they call it faceless AI sites channels.
Right. So ChatGPT scripts, no edits on the script, then a faceless slideshow video with generic info dumped on top. That needs to go, or that shouldn't be at the top.
It gets demonetized, and then when it gets demonetized, people are like, "What the hell? Why am I doing this? I'm not making any money for it." So the demonetization actually leads to these stranded, and I'm all for that. But I like what Leland said too, like the glassblower person who is doing unique content, and then all of a sudden, all these people are trying to steal his idea and make money off it on their own, and they're not really doing anything any different.
Yeah, but he
I don't
wasn't
like
doing.
that.
But he wasn't doing anything. I mean,
I'm not
he
saying
wasn't doing it. Hold on, but I'm just saying he wasn't doing anything that was unique. He
well,
was
apparently he was at
generate.
first. He was. I mean, wasn't he
At first he was, but I mean, it was duplicatable. I mean, there's
lower
no
barrier of
barrier.
entry, or
There's no barrier to
lower
entry.
moat, or no
Yeah.
moat, basically.
So I mean, you can't.
Any
go ahead.
content is replicatable. It back in the golden era of YouTube, and before monetization and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it became monetized, and then you get duplicate channels of people doing the exact same thing. I know there was what was it? The game theory or movie theory. This guy, he would just make up theories about movies or TV shows. And then all of a sudden monetization, and he did it before monetization, and then monetization came in, and then there's 1,000 channels doing the exact same content.
Yeah.
But he does it better. But any kind of content, it doesn't matter what it is, probably except for Mr. Beast, because who's got $10 billion to give away? That he's reached a point where no one could replicate him. People try, I'm going to give, a whole bunch of food to the homeless, and then they don't really do it. But
now that's the lowest of the low. If you say you're going to do it and then you don't do it,
horrible.
You should go to jail for stuff like that.
I agree. I agree. I mean, we need, and I think, when I was making mention of all of these like marketing garbage, right? I looked and I remembered, like, I was like, why do I remember when I was in school? So this is like in the, early to mid 80s. I'm like, we used to like have to learn all these laws. There were laws about what you could say and what you couldn't say in terms of like commercials and all of these different things, like in business law. So it wasn't just trademark and all that stuff. There were laws about certain words. We're old here. Remember when law firms could not advertise?
Oh yeah.
Remember that? And there were all these laws in place that sort of had restraints on marketers and what you could say and what you couldn't say, how to say certain things, right? That didn't mean that the ads were better. It didn't mean that they were so truthful. I'm just saying there were laws. And those laws are not so much in place anymore. Those laws have been loosened. Even if they're on the books, we're not like really enforcing them strongly. We're like okay with it. Besides, it's too hard. We just got done talking about all this different kind of content. So it's way too hard, but, things have changed quite a bit. And, I'm not sure what I'm advocating for. I would not mind having certain structures in place to force people to be a little bit more revealing, or I don't know what word to use, honest, truthful, accurate.
By the way, Eric Winchester, thanks for showing up. I love alligator camp for fake homeless supporting influencers for sure. I like that.
It's gonna have a concierge, Eric, and it's gonna have all the good things that those influencers need to be comfortable.
Wow. All right. So we literally pretty much talked about one thing. It was a hot topic. I mean, I'm on YouTube a lot, so I see it probably more than the average person. But I'm glad that these platforms have to start doing something, because it's getting too easy to replicate and create slop, as the lady in the article called it. And I completely agree. So we need to have something to save us from all this junk and easy to make slop that is completely getting in the way of us having the good stuff in front of us. I don't know any other way to put it. I hope some of these other ones take note and do that as well. We'll see.
I will say though, if the algorithms are showing you slop, it's because you're actually paying attention to slop.
Yeah, about to say they are watching it. See, that's the thing.
Just-
It's really YouTube saving money. YouTube's like, hey,
Hey, I'm okay
even
with
though
that.
you're watching, even because people are evidently watching these, but YouTube's like, look, you can watch it, but we're not going to pay these people
I'm
because they're
glad
not putting in any effort. I know. I'm just saying, it's a money saver
because a lot of the time the people that are creating this slop, there are a lot of people, they're watching the slop too, and they're watching other people
and
slop
they're
to see how they
selling
can make their slop.
courses. And
Yeah.
they're selling courses on how to create
How to
this
create
stuff.
slop. We know, and we all know actual individuals who are doing this. I'm looking right at y'all. You're doing it. You're driving us crazy. Sorry. I just felt the
Down.
All right, I want to ask you guys before we get out of here, something that John and I touched on last week. We didn't do a show here at noon, but we did our thing at 5:00, and that was July 4th. And every year, I read this speech from Frederick Douglass that he did in 1852 called "What to the Slave is the 4th of July," and it's just something I always read. But last week, Sam Altman from OpenAI, he put up a couple of tweets that kind of talked about how he feels about being an American on 4th of July. And I gave it a title. He didn't give it this title. I'm trying to find this thing. Oh, I know what happened. When my Wi-Fi, or not even my internet connection went down, it took out my slide, but I'm going to pull it right back. Here it is. All right. So he put out a couple of tweets that talked about how he felt about America and the kind of state of affairs. And I titled it, "What to the Billionaire is the 4th of July?" So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but one thing that we kind of talked about, John and I talked about, he says he believes in techno-capitalism. We should encourage people to make tons of money and then also find ways to widely distribute wealth and share the compounding magic of capitalism. One doesn't work without the other. You cannot raise the floor and not also raise the ceiling for very long. Then the last part I'm going to read. I don't know, the guy in New York who won the Democratic primary, Zohan Mamdani or something like that. Apparently he said something about there shouldn't be any billionaires in this country, or I don't know the exact wording, but something about billionaires don't need to be here or something like that. And so as part of his declaration, Sam says, "I'd rather hear from candidates about how they're going to make everyone have the stuff billionaires have instead of how they're going to eliminate billionaires." All right. So I'm not going to speak for John. I said, I think what he said is true. The words that he said are true. They just aren't realistic. We've been here for 250 years. And when has the things that the billionaires have gone down and distributed to the regular folks? It's never happened. If there's any distribution, it's usually the other way. Like when you cut billionaires' taxes and you also cut Medicare and Medicaid. That's distribution of money and wealth going that way. So, do you think that Sam is being realistic? Or is he just saying certain things because it actually benefits the techno-capitalists that are at the top of that economic chain? What do you guys think?
I think that the best way to move people into better situations is to just improve technology, life, and society. Think about 30, 40 years ago. I mean, the billionaires had the 80-inch television. You can go down to Walmart and get an 80-inch television now for relatively cheap. The billionaires have the best medical health out there. Anyone can go into the hospital and they can actually get medical attention. And yes, in some situations it's expensive, but it's not just reserved exclusively for the
Right, stop,
rich.
stop, stop, stop. Don't say that. Do your research before you say that. I'm going to you can continue with your point, but don't say that. That's not true.
I'm
If
just
you're
saying,
broke,
100
you
years ago,
cannot get health care unless you go to the emergency room. Period. It's
You still won't
expensive.
get it.
Even if you go to
Oh,
the
yeah.
freaking urgent care, it's expensive. Don't say that, bro.
if
You
you're
got to be
broke,
rich to get
if you're
good
damn
health
broke,
care,
if
or you
you
got to
are
work
no
for
money,
somebody.
there are state assistance.
That we just got rid of.
Medicaid.
Yeah, they just got cut in this new bill.
They
We
got
just
cut,
got rid of.
They got cut for people who are able-bodied
No,
but are refusing to work.
no.
If you are
They
a
got cut.
single parent,
Listen,
if you are
bro.
a single
Here's the
parent with
thing.
children,
Hey,
it doesn't get cut.
Let me just
Everybody,
be clear.
let's
just
get
be
one
clear.
at a time. Let's just
Hold
get
on.
one at a time
Just-
going.
Okay, I am, but I want to be clear. It got cut for everybody. Now, if you want to act like or say that we are just going to expand the cuts to certain people, that's fine. But the actual bill does not say you have to be able-bodied and working. It just got cut.
Well, that's what they're targeting. That's what I have seen. They're going to look for, I'm a 20-year-old person, I don't have a job, but I'm on Medicaid because I don't want to work. But the people that are single families or single mothers with kids, they don't get their Medicaid cut.
Well, I think
As soon as one of them
who
Or if
knows
you're
the-
disabled.
as soon as one of them gets cut, you understand that everything you said will not be true. You understand that.
Well, that's just what the
Okay. So
what
I'm
I've
gonna
been seeing.
bring it to you when it happens. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it's gonna be 2 years.
but
from
you know
now.
the really
But I
sad
just
part
want you
is,
to understand that it does not
Yeah.
say that.
Even
like 30% of Medicaid recipients are already working full time, and then there's like some other percentage that's working part time. That they're already working.
Well, and that's the requirements that they
That's
just put
the-
out. You just need to work 20 hours a
But
week.
those have been the requirement. I mean, to some degree. All I'm saying to you is the bulk of these folks are already working. If they are able-bodied and qualified to work, they are working. Right.
But your
That's what I'm
original
saying.
point was that Americans, if you are rich, you can, or if you're not rich now, you can get what rich people used to get back in the 70s. Is that your point?
That's what I'm saying. It's that
Yeah,
the,
I'm just
the
making
improvement
sure.
of technology, the improvement of medical technology, the improvement, treatments are available. Technology is available. Computers used to be thousands of dollars. Now they're, you could buy a computer
So
that's more
iPhone.
powerful. Yeah, iPhones.
well, but
But
can
then I guess the problem I have with all of this, right? And all of us have lived through this. I don't know, Leland, you're the youngest one of the bunch, right? But I
Mhm.
know that John and I, since we are just a few weeks apart, have lived through this because I remember when paying rent was okay, and which is why like older boomer people like to say things like stop getting coffee out, stop getting avocado toast or whatever it is that we boomers like to complain about. The issue is when I went off on my own, my rent was expensive, but I also could not have any luxuries. So whatever was considered a luxury could have been a wireless phone, like a wireless phone was expensive, but having like a plugged in phone was cheaper, right? So the basics were attainable. But having a big television or having or a fancy car or like all of these things that we grew up with being luxuries, right? Now it is flipped, right? So you could get an 80-inch television for, I don't know what the price is right now. Maybe it's like $800. I don't know. I have zero clue. I'm making that up. But your rent is going to be $1,500. So it's like literally cheaper to have a ginormous piece of technology. And to just even, has anyone seen that Apple has just put out a $900 monitor stand?
Oh, they didn't just put that out. It's been out for a while.
Like, what is up with the, to my, okay, that could
But
be a
that's,
luxury,
I mean,
I
that's,
suppose.
But look, I think the big picture here is, yeah, like even though saying, yeah, you can get a TV for dirt cheap, but try to get a house, try to get a loan on a house, try to get a loan on a business. It's about not only about the financial, it's about the power that goes. How many people that can buy $800 TV can also get buy millions of dollars in lobbyists so that you get the policies that you want passed, because
but that
those
hasn't changed.
Yeah,
but I
that's
guess
been like that, though.
what I'm saying is it's not just about the money, it's about the power that goes along with it. And what Sam Altman said about, oh, we should be able to let everybody become a billionaire. It never happens. It never has, and it never will, because the people who are billionaires, for the most part, I'm not saying they all are, they want to keep their billions. They want to keep the ability to make the policies that they want that will allow them to keep the power they have. No, they don't want to share that. They
And
will
not
share the
everybody
$800 TV more than they will share the power to have a lobby group say the policies that they want passed.
And there's
Not
these
that.
people for whom that's important, right? But we all know that as human beings, we all have different things that create happiness. Some people don't want to have, I would not, honestly, I could count myself. I would not want to be in any of these people's shoes and deal with any of the stuff those people are dealing with, right? And there are lots and lots of people who simply want to live their life. They want to live their life. They want to go to work. They want to provide value to somebody. They want to have money come in, and they want to be able to feed their family. I'm just talking about house their family, feed their family, put shoes on their kids, and maybe get an education. At this point, I think that is like off the table.
And just for me, to Leland's point, I mean, maybe you just haven't been here that long on the planet. But honestly, when I was growing up, it was a one working parent household.
Yep.
That's an impossible. Do you live? Does your wife work?
No.
Yeah, for small business trends, right?
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
she
yeah.
helps out here and there, but no, she doesn't have a job.
So is
she
that
stays home
pretty
with the kids.
normal where you guys are? Is that one parent works and the other?
It's somewhat, but yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's probably, I think that really is the key, and it's like if you go to Europe, the difference between Europe and America is very unique in that you can go 3,000 miles in America and everybody speaks the same language. Everybody has the same dollar bill. Everybody, it's the same country. You do that same distance and you'll have gone through 5-6 different countries in Europe. And what happens here is we feel like where you live is the same as where I live, and it's not. It's a different country. I live in a completely different country than Leland does, because people here, one parent families, they are struggling just to keep the lights on. And it's not even an option for one of the people not to be working and just chilling at home with the kids. It's just that you can't do that. I'd have to move to your country to do that. And everybody doesn't want to live in your country. People want to live in other countries. The deal is we have to, or Atlanta, a different country. We have to understand that it ain't the same everywhere just because it's called America.
It ain't even the same state.
I know.
I mean, you go to North Jersey,
right.
Georgia is one way.
Georgia,
you
right.
go down
It's a whole
south. Are
nother-
you kidding? We're back to
Right.
the 1800s in certain places.
I think that's the big thing that we deal with in this country, is the misunderstanding of how other people live in other areas in the country.
I don't think everybody wants to be a billionaire. and I'm sure there are folks who want it so bad they'll do anything to be it. But I also think that, like you said, Leland, some people just want to have their own little piece of the pie, have their own house and be able to do the things that they want that don't have to scale up to, impact everybody, but just to be able to have a piece of the freedom that everybody kind of wants. But when you hear certain things said, like everybody should be able to become a billionaire. Come on, maybe in some kind of dream state that could happen, but we know that will never happen here. We've been here 250 years, and the difference between the people at the top and the people at the bottom has only gotten wider and wider and wider. I don't see how that changes. I would love for it to change. I would love for people to be able to feel like they are able to have more control over their life and and more freedom and more, of everything that they want. But that ain't happening. I don't care if you call it techno capitalism or retro capitalism. It's going to have the same impact because the people that do have the power ain't too cool about giving it up. So they will let us get the $800 TVs, the $50 whatevers, because that doesn't really impact them. And it makes these folks at the bottom a little happier. But as this big statement about everybody should have the ability to become a billionaire, yeah, that's probably right. But in reality, we know that never happens. So that's why I just thought it was interesting what he said.
When everyone becomes a billionaire, no one's a billionaire.
That's why
that's very scary. I worry about
that's why
that.
It'll never happen because that would mean seriously policy shifts, and that ain't gonna happen.
You need to do things to be able to curb, like, I'm not the biggest fan of lobbying. I don't like that. I don't like that. You get companies that go in and spend a bunch of money and get, one of the things is like dealerships. They have lobbyers. They get a legal monopoly in their area, and then they pay off the politicians to say, keep it in place.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But I think that the best thing to do is to make, the bottom, I guess you could say, better and more livable. And I think that as a whole, life has gotten better for people that are on the bottom. Our poorest of the poor are richer than like most of the world.
Yeah, but they got to live here and they got to buy things here, and that.
Man, let me just put it like this: hungry in America ain't better than hungry somewhere else. Hungry's hungry.
Well, yeah, but we have more opportunities than someone in the heart of Africa who's got nothing and no wells, no food coming in.
There are people though that are retiring in those places because the money that they get there can go like exponentially longer than they get over here. I hear all these people saying, I can't retire here. I can't, I won't be able to survive. I'll take the money I made over here. Just like people that lived in San Francisco and the average house is what, a couple $1 million. They leave San Francisco, sell their house $2 million, and they'll buy something for like a quarter of that and be living high on the hog because they're in a place that makes sense for them financially to live. There are people that leave this country with all that money they made over the years and live other places because that money will go much further, even if they don't have the same things available to them.
Well, hell, they could go where Leland lives.
I don't know. That might be still expensive over there. I don't know.
Our cost of living is actually, from what I've seen,
higher since Amazon came to town.
Yeah,
$1,500 rent usually around here.
So are you serious? See, that's what it is. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Goodness,
that's ridiculous. For there, come on.
Well, didn't you say they put some Amazon things up? And I'm guessing that Amazon comes.
It's like what happened when we were in Austin. Remember, John, when we were driving, we were on the bus and we were going somewhere. Maybe it was SpaceX. And we passed by that development that had like starting in the low 300s or something. Remember that?
SpaceX. Yeah.
I said to the woman, and meanwhile, like across the street are these like shanties, right? So these are like normal looking, right, houses. And then there's like this shanty all the way down the line. And I got to the hotel. I said to the woman, who's buying those? Well, in the
The
same way that
SpaceX people.
right, in the same way that Zoho opened an office there, you got SpaceX. There are other software companies who are relocating there. And the woman told me all of those people were from California.
Gentrification.
Yeah.
Right.
They took
And
that
now
California
I'm
money
wondering, and now, of course, they're complaining. So the locals are now complaining that everything has gotten more expensive because of that.
That's Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, people can't even afford to live in their homes
Plus, like,
because the tax has gone up so high.
Yeah, but
they
from
own the home,
but coming from California,
can't afford the taxes.
Coming from California, where the taxes are already sky high, that these folks are not only getting more money for their houses, but now they're paying less taxes, so they got money to spend, and that increases everything for the people that have been there forever and don't have money to spend like that.
That's how we ended up in Cleveland, from Philadelphia to Dayton. I doubled my salary, reduced my cost of living by, I kid you not, 70% back in 1993. 70%.
But see, that's back in 1993. I don't even think you can do that way.
No, I don't think you can do that today, but that's what I'm saying. The
I
opportunity.
think you can, actually.
If you're going from California to where the house price for a 2-bedroom home is like $1.3 million, and you're going to an area like where I live, where it's $300,000 for a house, or $400,000 for a house, or for the same house it'd be about $300,000. Yeah, you've got a big difference in how much money you have to spend every month.
Yeah,
and I think that's ultimately the thing. We need to put in legislation to make sure that the housing market is strong, that there are plenty of options, and that it's easier to be able to get a house.
We need affordable living.
They just passed something that actually allowed you to be able to use your rental history on your application to be able to get a mortgage, where you weren't able to do that before. You only had what was on your credit history, period. And so that's going to be able to open up the possibility for people to be able to get mortgages by saying, hey, I've got a clean rental history. And so if I could afford $1,500 for rent, I could afford maybe $1,600 for a house.
Man, the last thing, and I guess we better close up. Even in Atlanta, there are people who have lived in the same house for like decades, but because of gentrification all around them, the market value of these houses have skyrocketed, which means their tax, burden on their property has skyrocketed. So these folks who own the house outright can't even afford to live there anymore, which is crazy to me, because the other stuff around them has increased the value of the property. They can't even afford to pay their tax. Yeah, it's real.
Well,
we're not.
That's why there's that call in like Florida and a few other red states that are like, hey, let's just get rid of property tax.
Hey, everybody would be for that.
That would.
I don't care what state.
I wish we would think a lot of things through, right? Like, we keep talking about running, which I don't agree with, because a government is a government and a business is a business. But those are two different things.
One has a profit motive. One really shouldn't have a profit motive.
Should not have a profit motive, but blah, blah, blah. That's not the point. The point is, we don't ever talk about the basics. Like, what is the desired outcome that we want? And you know what I would love to see with the onset of technology and all of that? I would love to see us run the government with our voice. This will never happen. But how awesome would it be if you could see, right, all the things that are going on, and you push your, you vote your whatever it is that you want to see happen. Like, I'm all for plain language, right? Quit saying shit that is not true. See, I'm right back to where we started. The marketing of these things. Like, why do voting things have to use like double negatives? Say the thing so that if I can read it, I understand it. Say what the impact is. Stop talking in word salad that nobody understands. So like, you know, everything gets into this tagline like no tax on tips, or like unlimited vacation, or trade in your cell phone. It is not a trade in.
I know unlimited vacation. That's
That is not a thing.
You
That
got
is not a
fired.
thing.
I'm in. I'll take that.
But
You
it-
know, or unlimited data. I was like, what happened to unlimited data? Well, you know, 80% of our people use this. And since you've gone over that, we're just going to slow you down. Well, that is not unlimited. Say the stupid number. Just say
Okay.
it. It's okay.
We got to get out of here. I think we just crossed back into La La Land where Sammy is, because all those things sound great. They will never happen here. Never, ever in a million years will any of this stuff happen. Unfortunately, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying it just won't happen. Anyway,
We're all for shiny, happy people. Let's
all
end
right.
it there.
Last thoughts, Mr. Ice.
Last thoughts. Go see Beyonce. And all of this will go away.
Really, you just saw it and it ain't going away yet. Okay, Leland.
It's summer. Enjoy the summer. Relax with your family. Find a good time to be able to get away. Try hard to be able to do that, because time with your family, time with peace is fleeting. Because there's always going to be work to be done.
Oh, okay. Madam Mic Drop.
I don't have a mic drop. I just, you know, I think my mic drop is going to be unplug. Take time to unplug. Stop reading the ads in your Facebook stream, and stop comparing yourself to others, and just start looking for where you could bring joy, because we need more shiny, happy people.
Shiny and happy. I like that. We need
Shiny and
people.
happy. You know, we've had the alternative and it's definitely not fun. So like, let's go the other way.
Yeah, I'm all for that. First of all, shout out to Garfield Lawson the third. Look at that. Cousin Gar is here.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, you shout him out. I really, although we got a little heat on some things, I think this was great.
We missed Ramon. He wasn't here to, you know.
Yeah, the
I
kind
am
of
like the middle
dark things.
person. Leland, poor guy, he's like on the one side. You know, we needed a little bit more.
You wanted the agitator.
We almost got a spit take out of her.
No, he'll say things and then look immediately to John to see his reaction of just But we do miss Ramon. We do miss Shashi, and
they're unplugging.
Hopefully they'll be back next week or week after that. Eventually, we'll keep the light on for them. Anyway, we enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this. We will see you next Friday for Small Biz Breakdown. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Peace.